Talking with Sandra Richardson Smith. I'm looking at your card here. Oh, I'm
Perry.
sorry, doctor. That's interesting that you guys are from the school system, but you're still working to improve your knowledge of yourself, I take it.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Learning is an ongoing process. Okay, one should never lose their thirst for knowledge. Okay, and I think it's very, very important to know thyself. Personally, I've always considered myself a citizen of the world, and I think that the path that I chose in education, i.e. studying other languages, has really kind of given me a different perspective, because I know that the sun never sets on the African diaspora, i.e. African people scattered all over the world. And when you think about it in that term, I don't consider myself a minority. I'm in the majority. And so 1 year ago, I joined the Fred Hart Genealogical Society because I wanted to do more in-depth, structured research on my family roots and history, because I'm not quite sure exactly where they came from. But it wasn't until I decided to declare a major in French, my undergraduate degree is in French, that I ran and told my maternal grandmother, "Grandma, I'm going to major in French." At that time, she said, "Why do you want to learn that language?" And I said, "Well, why not? I took Latin in high school." She says, "Well, I can remember being a little girl growing up in Arkansas. My grandfather, who wasn't married to my grandmother, used to take me into town with him sometime, and they would say, 'Bonjour, Albert,' and start speaking in this language, and I didn't know what these grown people were talking about. And I said, 'Really, Grandma? Was your grandfather French?' She said, 'Well, I don't know. He spoke the language, but his wife didn't like us because he kept having all of these little dark children with my grandmother, and his wife lived in the big house.'" And I thought, whoa, you know what you're saying to me? And I think that because she was closer to slavery, those kinds of things are very difficult to talk about. Of course, my mother and her siblings didn't believe it. They were in awe when I went back and told them. They said, "Mother never told us anything like that." Nobody was interested in languages. And so as I became older and, I look on the map and I'm looking, I said, well, Louisiana's not far from Arkansas. Could it be that maybe Cajuns came down from Canada or French Canadian? I don't know, but I'm going to find out. Now, I'm very, very interested because having gone to the continent 10 times, starting first with the East Coast because I studied Swahili, and then the West Coast is my favorite because of the French. Every time I go, I have friends that tell me that I look like somebody from some particular tribe or ethnic group, if you will. And so I said, now's the time.
So now you said that you're new into the club here,
Yes.
but you've been oriented this way all your life, though.
Oh, yes. Well, as an undergraduate, I studied 3 languages at the university level: French, Spanish, and Kiswahili. So I sat here and I read.
What university?
Wayne State University.
Oh,
Detroit, Michigan. La Ville de Detroit. And then I went to graduate school at the University of Detroit, the Jesuit University up north. And so, all those trips back and forth. Well, with the language skills, right out of undergraduate school, I accepted a job as an international flight attendant with Pan Am. So that began the serious travel. And so I've had a chance to meet people on a number of continents and network, and the African diaspora, the African world is one. I've met Hawaiians since I've been here that are very proud of their African heritage. I met some ladies working in the library.
Hawaiians are Africans?
Oh, yeah. Africa's the cradle of civilization. And you hear a lot of people who are very, very excited these days about DNA, but most of those people who are excited about it, if you'll watch, are people of color. The librarian told us the other night, her name's Mary, she introduced me to Ancestry.com because I've never done it before. And she said she had her DNA done and that she learned that 30% of her heritage is from sub-Saharan Africa. And she's told us that many of her relatives are very, very upset about it. Why? She looks very European. So she said, you know, I'm going to help my sisters and brothers every time they come in the library. And I looked at her and I said, well, you know, I am so proud of you to openly share that with us. You know, it was a genealogy tour and all that, but some people are not happy about that. They're discovering things and they're not happy. So.
Well, you know, one interesting dilemma we have here in Fort Wayne, to be such a small city, we have a lot of different ethnic groups here, and there's I'm detecting that a small percentage of us, people here in Fort Wayne, don't necessarily want to see a multicultural community, and then I'm seeing a small percentage that does want to see, you know, a community exchange, and are helping out people who could care less one way or the other. And the apathy is what I'm trying to fight against. You know, why don't they care to want to know people, and why is it important that we do mix it up more with these other ethnics that's living around us?
Well, I think one of the reasons that many people are apathetic is because of the history of the United States and how this country was founded. Some of the workshops that I've gone through to this morning, one in particular I was interested in, skeletons or esteemed ancestors. Skeletons in the closet or esteemed ancestors. Okay, and the speaker was very, very candid, you know, about a lot of people came to this country, those of European descent. They were prisoners. They were poor people. They were looking for a better way. Okay, that's the way they came in. And sometimes when you have that kind of background, it's easy for you to feel threatened by the newest wave of immigrants, especially when the economy is suffering. You feel threatened. Is it right? No, I don't think so, because I think we should celebrate diversity rather than penalizing people for being different. And I tell my language students that all the time, because once you allow yourself to open up with other languages, you can't help but learn about other cultures. And you will see that we are really more alike than different. We all have red blood. We all want the best for our children. And there's no reason to be threatened. And I'm idealistic. I just happen to think that, you know, maybe if we get to know each other, allow ourselves a chance to get to know each other and see the commonalities in our heritage, because Africa is the cradle of civilization, then maybe, just maybe, you know, we can have some peace in this world.
You know, one thing I've noticed in my brief few years of working with the different cultural groups here is that when you talk with the Asian group who had to flee their country for some government atrocity that was being done against their people, and then you talk to an African who had the same experience, and you talk to American Indians who had the same experience, and knowing black history, you can see that there's a lot of, and then they're all coming to America, the land of freedom and democracy. You see a lot of motivations that you can connect. I mean, the one story reads just like the other. They have the same beat to it.
Yes, yes, many commonalities. And so it's going to be imperative that we come together, because we live in a global society now. And coming from Detroit, Michigan, you know, it's quite apparent that we are no longer the big three economically. We are now the medium six. We share that with Toyota, Nissan, and Honda. And so, you know, if we don't come together, we're all going to perish. It's plain and simple.
One of the things I'm looking forward to doing is getting an interview with your mayor of Detroit, and then I want to get an interview with the mayor of Dearborn, because we have a large Iraqi population here, or Arabic population here too, and I think that we need to, I think that we can learn, with me being here in Fort Wayne, you know, we always say that we need to, you know, learn these other races, these other ethnic groups, but at the same time, we need to learn each other too, because there's things that we can learn by talking with leaders in Detroit, to bring back ideas to Fort Wayne and vice versa.
That's right. That's right. In Dearborn, Michigan, we have the largest Arabic population outside the Middle East. And in my job, I do partnering with those communities because in the Detroit public school system, we offer 7 languages daily. And we've got to learn how to communicate with each other. When people stop talking, it gets to be dangerous.